Look what someone drew. Real ass shit. The artist Topsy.
Hi, my name is Maddie Mae Modal. I'm a Bible scholar specializing in gender and sexuality. And you might ask, Maddie Mae, is that even biblical? Is this heretical? Is this sacrilege? Well, actually, I think that these artistic protests demonstrate a thorough comprehension of Christ's birth narrative. Because you see, Jesus, along with his mother and father, Mary and Joseph, are depicted as refugees fleeing political violence. The gospel narratives show that Jesus was not only vulnerable in his physical status as an infant, but also in his citizenship status, as he is forced to seek asylum in a foreign land. This message is unequivocally subversive, as Jesus, the new king of the world, is alienated in the very land he came to save. Something that you might not realize is that the global Christian church has a long and sacred tradition of protest. One of my favorite examples of this is the prophet Ezekiel. I like to call him the original performance artist. The prophet Ezekiel used profane, bizarre, and offensive displays to communicate God's divine wrath on a nation that refused to take care of the poor and needy. In Ezekiel 49, you can see that God is judging an arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned nation for not helping the poor and the needy. I know that there's a temptation among liberals and leftists to see religion and faith as detrimental to any meaningful progress. However, if you observe some of the greatest revolutions in history, the church is right at the heart of that resistance. That's because any meaningful resistance requires a huge amount of faith. Faith in goodness, love, and humanity, despite everything. At its core, this is what the gospel reminds us. Every person bears the image of God, and they deserve dignity, care, and justice. Any movement away from that message is a disturbing distortion of who Christ is and what he came to do. The Bible is unclear on so many things. I've dedicated my life to studying it. But as I studied, there are some points that emerge crystal clear. And one of those points is that God loves the immigrant, the widow, the orphan, and the poor. If you're looking for the divine, you have to look to the margins. And those nativity scenes carefully and faithfully demonstrate that truth. They capture the beauty and the complexity and the grit of the subversive gospel that Jesus Christ was a Palestinian refugee who was executed by the state. That's the kind of Messiah that we serve. And that's the kind of powerful message that you need to fuel a revolution. Because if someone tries to tell you that it is Christ-like to support ICE, I need you to understand that is just not biblical, sis.